Hi everyone. I hope you're all doing super well today. You're having a good day. Today is Tuesday, which is not really relevant, but here we are. I have my reading time mug with some coffee. I'll be doing laundry after this. First, I want to address the fact that I have not given up on my reading stats. I'm still doing them, but I'm doing them behind the scenes. I am still trying to get back to my reading. But this month I read 6 normal books and 6 graphic novels, and I would say that's an upgrade. But here we are, here we go. Let's do this. Okay, I will start with the graphic novels, so I will leave also all the timestamps down below if you want to skip to the actual books. I know graphic books and comics aren't for everyone. The first one is In Real Life by Cory Doctorow and Jen Wang. So this one is so freaking hyped. So I was expecting a lot, right? It's about this girl who's very into gaming and she has like quite strict parents. And then at school, this woman comes to give like a lecture about this like group and stuff, and she can work within the game and like earn money within the game or something. And she takes it, she finds this person within the game, like a worker in China who gets very low paid, and she kind of makes it her mission to fix this guy's life or like help him in some way. So I really like the message of this story. I think the art was pretty cool. I really liked the character that she is in the game, and I also liked how it was so visual. Like, I think I'm not a gamer, so I can't relate to that part of it, but I think we all like to visualize our virtual lives as if they're real, and this book does that really well. Unfortunately, I didn't click with it. Like, there was some great things, the story was great, but I just didn't really enjoy it all that much, and at times I was sort of bored. It does have a very cool and insightful introduction though by the author. So I think I gave it like 3 stars. It's very matte for me. Then I read Welcome to Beach City, a Steven Universe comic. So this is a series of short stories within Beach City in Steven Universe. So there's various illustrators and authors. And I ended up really liking this. I think they're super cute, they're funny, they had like different messages. My favorite one is probably when they go and see the Cookie Cat movie at the cinema. I thought that was really funny, and I did some fan art of it too. I really enjoyed it. It was fun to see some of the different art styles. I really like that. Most of them have to do with the Big Donut and donut stories in general, which is also why it's on the front cover, but it was a bit maybe too centered on that. I don't know, I give it 4 or 5 stars, something like that. Then I read Always Human by Ari North. This originally started as a webcomic, and I waited for the physical. I know the webcomic has like music over it and everything, and it looks super cool, but I decided to get the physical. So it is very like minimalistic in a way. The art is no liners, very white, simple, sleek. It takes place in the future, so you're basically following these 2 main characters, and there aren't very many characters beside that. There isn't very much environmental things, but basically in the future you can change your look, change your everything, and it's about this one girl who loves to do that, falling in love with another girl who can't do like bots. So if you have like a disease, you can get a bot for it. If you want to study, you get a bot for being able to study more. Like, they have bots for everything. And I really like that part of it. I like the sci-fi aspect of it. And I thought it was cute that it was like a girl and girl romance. And I liked some of the topics they tackled. Unfortunately, I mean, I gave this 4 stars, I think, but it's so awkward. And I don't know exactly what it is, but there's something about the relationship between the characters, how it develops, the conflicts they have, and especially the conversation. It's really awkward in a way that it's like not realistic in a way. And I think this happens sometimes with graphic novel artists who aren't necessarily writers, but it has some really strong points. Like, it has a really cool non-binary character, which I really, really loved, and there are some really like aesthetically pleasing characters in this, and as aesthetics goes, it was amazing. As world building goes, I really liked it. I like the concept, but it's just really awkward, and if you read it, like, you know what I'm talking about. Next story. After that, I picked up Hicotilla. This is Spanish translated, I think, graphic novel. The first one is called Night Lights, and this is sort of a continuation, but it's also like companion novels in a way. The art in this is like one of the best I've ever seen. It is just colorful and oh my god, if I could only... It's colorful, they're great characters, they're so cute. Oh, okay, here are some colors. And it's basically like a love story for nature. It is so beautiful, and it's about this little girl who goes to school, and she's a bit different, I guess you could say. She loves to draw. One day when in the park where she's going there with her school, and they're supposed to like document all these creatures and stuff, she kind of discovered this other world that exists within a tortoise? I don't know if it's a tortoise or a turtle. I saw something of this like where, I don't know if it was all turtles or tortoise, but not all turtles are turtles, or if it was the other way around. Anyways, a shell of one of those, and there's like a whole world within it. It's magical realism, it's a bit surreal, but the messages are so beautiful, and also it's a middle grade, but like gorgeous and super deep. And I forgot I had the mic. I'm sorry if I touched that. Yeah, I got a new mic. I'm happy about it. Then we read the very hyped Uzumaki by Junji Ito. This is basically, it is written as if it's short stories, but it is a huge continuous story. So this is a manga, and it's about this town where it's basically cursed by the spiral. And it starts with the obsession of the main character's boyfriend's dad, who gets an obsession with spirals, and he sees them everywhere. He just wants to like, and it starts small, and I'm all like, oh, it's not that scary, you know, whatever. And generally, I would say it isn't all that scary. There was the chapter with the snail, and there's the chapter with the hare. Honestly made me like burst out laughing. Like I thought they were fucking like hysterical, so funny. And I think they were supposed to be scary, but they were like honestly just really funny. In general, I really liked this. I did give it 4 stars though. I think I'm coming to realize that even though I like graphic books and novels and comics, I think manga isn't really my thing. Like there's something about the vibe in manga that I just don't vibe with. But I do really, really like Junji Ito's stories and art. It is a bit long in the way that the story isn't always present within these short stories, and it's a bit hard to see the continuous thread. The ending was just like, okay, I guess you wanted to go there. And it was so funny while I was reading this. My teddy bear has those like little spirals on on its cheek. And I was reading this, and I was like a little bit creeped out, but I was fine, you know. And I lay to bed, and I turned around, and I saw this teddy bear with a spiral on the cheeks, and I literally like yelped a bit because it was too freaky. But I think I'm gonna read like pretty much all of Junji Ito's stuff. Even though I only gave it 4 stars, I really like it. I find it inspiring, I find it enjoyable to read, and it's a type, I think I do like the concept of horror, but I don't like getting scared, and for me, like Junji Ito does that very well. Then the last like graphic novel that I read was Through the Woods by Emily Carroll. I read When I Arrived at the Castle by her, and I really liked it. This one was like a complete miss for me, which is so weird, right? Because it's the same vibe, the same color scheme, the same art, but somewhere in this, like, I didn't connect with the stories, I didn't really like the flow of the graphic novel, I'm not sure I really liked the art, like, it was just a miss for me. I still give it 3 stars because I do think the concepts are really clever, and I do like stories where there are open endings, and basically all the short stories in this do have open endings, and I do really like that. But I don't know what I was expecting, but it was just not for me. Like sometimes it's just like that, you know? Okay, then we get into the, I got a message, who knew? The actual books I read 4 novels, 1 audiobook, and nonfiction. So let's start with that. The first one is Fever Dream by Samantha Schweblin. I read Little Ice by them, and I said them. I think it was she. And I really liked it. This is completely different. It is a horror, I believe, but it's so freaking weird, okay? Because it's about this child boy who is trying to like coax this story out of a woman who's lying in a hospital, and the woman is telling the story of something random that happened to her and how she ended up at the hospital bed. And he says it's super, super important for her to finish the story, and he keeps trying to tell her to finish the story. And the story is just like so, it's normal, but it's also weird, and you don't really know what is going on. And you're like, this story is just creeping me the fuck out. But it is what it is. It is what it is. I really liked it. I gave it 5 stars, but other people who've reviewed this book who had like the same opinions gave it lower ratings. It all depends on like if you like it or not. But if you want something that's just so different and strange, like I highly recommend this. I really loved it, and I will read the last book by her. It's something Mouth something. Then I read Pizza Girl by Jean Kyung Fraser. I thought this was a new adult, but I think it's actually young adult because the main character is 18 years old. She's pregnant. She lives with her boyfriend and her mother, and the boyfriend's parents are dead and her dad is dead. And actually, her mom and her boyfriend are so supportive of her, and I just really loved seeing that, because when you hear like a girl who's pregnant at 18, you hear like, oh no, she probably gets a lot of shit from her parents, but they're just so supportive and so loving, and I loved seeing that. Unfortunately, I gave this 2 stars because there was something about this story. This is not really a spoiler because it is a huge part of the plot, and I want to talk about it because if I knew this about this book before I picked it up, I wouldn't have picked it up. So I feel inclined to tell you what that is, and that is that her father was an alcoholic, and she basically also struggles with alcoholism, and I find it, for some reason, it's triggering for me when someone is pregnant and cannot take care of their body, because like for just those 9 months, you're responsible for someone else's life. And I understand like in many ways, like this is what people are going through, and I think it's important to talk about all sorts of perspectives and all type of stuff, but it was like the ending wasn't redeeming. It wasn't like giving this a positive outlook. Like it was just, I found it a bit problematic, to be honest. I found it a bit problematic. That's my general opinion. I guess the plot that sort of drives the story forward, I didn't mention, is that my main character, she is a pizza girl, and she gets obsessed with this woman who wants pickles on her pizza for her son who's just moved, and it's like kind of about the relationship, but it's really not about the relationship. I didn't like it, and it's so sad. Yeah. Okay. Then I read Harrow the Ninth by Tamsin Muir. I ended up really, really loving this more than the first one. I did a complete review and spoilery vlog where I literally just talked about everything that happens in this book. So if you've read it and you want to watch that, I will link it in the cards. It is very in-depth and long, but I think I'm really glad I made it for like when I read the next book, because these books are so complicated. So how will I explain this? This is written in second person, and it's a continuation of the first one. In this world, you're basically following these 9 planets who have different necromantic abilities. There is like a necrolord who has like the emperor who has control over these, who created these planets with these different abilities. And our main character is the princess of the 9th house. I don't know how you say it, not princess, but like leader of the 9th house. In this one, I won't spoil anything, but I really liked it. It is a slow read. It is epic. I love all the twists and turns, like Tamsin's just throwing them at you. I really enjoyed it. I absolutely cannot wait for the next one, and I'm also really proud of myself for reading epic sci-fi fantasy, because as you can tell, I don't read it anymore. After that, I picked up a very important book that I feel like I will come back and talk to many times because I feel like it's so important. And this is Not a Drill, an Extinction Rebellion handbook by Extinction Rebellion. If you don't already know, Extinction Rebellion is a movement that started in the UK in 2018, and it has really flowered different cities around across the world. And I've also now decided to join Extinction Rebellion in Denmark because I feel voice crack. I feel it's such a pressing matter, and what they do is that they use civil disobedience to enforce change to happen within the government. And I just really love that concept, and I feel like what they stand for is really beautiful. Their mission is really beautiful, and I will link the video where I talk more about my opinions. My opinions actually changed since I made my whole like environmentalism opinion. Like, I still believe those things, but I would have made the video different if I made it today, which I'm really happy about. And I learned a lot from this. It gives stories of how much Indigenous communities are suffering from climate change already. And something that's not really talked about too much when we talk about being an ally. And this one really goes into already how many lives are being taken and destroyed and because of climate change. And I really, really recommend reading this. Everyone's reading all the, oh wait, I won't get into that. Read it, seriously, even if you're not gonna join. I thought this was really powerful. Highly recommend. The last book is second last book, My Sister the Serial Killer by, oh no, I was gonna look up how you say this. Oyinkam Baraitambe. Oh my god, I'm so bad. Anyways, so this is about our main character, Kareed, who basically has a sister who has killed her last 3 boyfriends, and Kareed has always had to wash that shit up, and she's tired. And then her sister basically starts dating the doctor at the hospital that our main character is a nurse at. And our main character, Kareed, is like, heck no. Not that dude, literally any guy, because you're gonna fucking go and kill him, right? And I understand this character, her sister, I don't remember what her name is, Ayula. She's so beautiful, and so many men like want her, but I know so many people like Ayula. Just the way she is, I found a really good characterization, and I did quite like our main character. Unfortunately, I was a bit bored throughout the story. It's quite short, and it doesn't really have a lot of like mystery elements. I liked the decision that Kareed made at the end of the story. I won't say I would have made the same decision, but I liked that decision. I wish there was a bit more to it. Like, I felt like there wasn't all that much plot, which seems weird, but it's just, there's not that many things that happen. And I wish we would have dealt maybe like a bit more into the past when it came to like their father and stuff, because we do get answers for why their father isn't around anymore. I gave it 3 stars. I thought it was like pretty mediocre, easy read. And also, right, last mention, this took me more than 2 months to listen to, but I listened to the audiobook for The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson. I have tried to listen to all the Stormlight archives before Rhythm of War comes out in November. I think I will manage, because I just finished this month Words of Radiance, and I will hop on Oathbringer right away. That's why I haven't been reading any other audiobooks, because the audiobook is literally like 45 hours long, and it takes me so long to listen to them, okay? Way of Kings, it was really good. I think the second time around, it was a little bit blah, 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 blah. Like, there's a lot of information and words where I'm like, oh, I already know this, like, let's move on with the story, you know? So I really enjoyed it. I obviously still give it 5 stars. Maybe it's more like a 4.5 or like a 4 stars, which is so sad for me to say, but I will still love it a lot. And I had such a joy listening to it. The audio narrators are really, really great. So if you're ever planning to reread this, I actually really recommend the audiobooks. I can see how it's confusing if you listen to them the first time around, because there's so many characters and world building information. But for your second time around, I really recommend listening to it. It has been great. Really enjoyed it. I am so glad I'm doing this, because there's so many things I forgot. Like, when I'm listening to them, I'm like, oh yeah, and then now when I finished Words of Radiance, I'm like, oh my god. Oh wait, just give me a minute. So that is going to be it for this video. I really hope that you enjoyed. Comment down below what books you read in October. I was really pushing myself to read some scary books, but I wasn't feeling it. And there were so many books I wanted to read, but it just didn't happen, okay? Like, it wasn't in the mood, didn't have time. I'm getting out of my reading slump, as you can see, but like reading 5 physical books a month isn't what I am still not used to, but it's a healthy amount, if that makes sense. I am focusing on that. It's a healthy amount to read. I am planning to do at least one secret TBR for November, so I'm super excited about that. I will talk to you guys soon. Thank you for watching.